The ASUS Vivobook series has been around for a very long time, and there's a good reason for that. It's the go-to for people who want something lightweight but also capable. Today, we're checking out the 2025 ASUS Vivobook S16. And just like the Vivobooks that came before it, this one still has all the features we've come to love. But the 2025 Vivobook S16 does come with a few tricks up its sleeve. This particular unit is powered by Snapdragon. Yes, the same Snapdragon that's found in all or most of your smartphones is now on this laptop. With an SRP of just 51,000 pesos, is the Snapdragon X powered Vivobook S16 something you should consider as your next laptop? Well, let's find out in this review. So let's start with the design. The ASUS Vivobook S16 still features the minimalist styling we've come to love from the Vivobook lineup. There's the aluminum deck lid that's clean apart from the silver etched ASUS Vivobook label and creates a nice contrast to the silver body. Well, the matte silver body to be exact. No other logos or design cues, which gives it a very professional look. Now, we like the minimalist design, but what do you think about it? In addition to having an aluminum deck lid, it is very smudge resistant, meaning you don't leave any fingerprints even though you have oily hands like mine. So it's a nice touch to have. But while the deck lid is made out of metal, the rest of the body is made out of plastic. Still, I do wish ASUS made the rest of the body also metal to match the premium feel of the aluminum deck lid. But at least the plastic construction leads to a more lightweight body. The Vivobook S16 only weighs 1.74 kilograms, which is relatively light considering its size. It's compact too, measuring just 1.59 centimeters thick, which makes it easy to bring around wherever I am. Despite its slim design, you also get a bunch of ports at your disposal. These include two 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports, two USB 4.0 Gen 3 Type C ports with support for display output and power delivery, an HDMI 2.1 port, and a 3.5mm combo audio port. Unfortunately though, there is no micro SD or even an SD card slot. So if you're a photographer or videographer working in the creative field, you will need to bring a hub just so you can transfer photos and files to this laptop from your SD card or even micro SD card. Opening the lid can be done with just one hand and you can open it up to a full 180 degrees. The hinges feel solid and it doesn't feel like it will break even after multiple cycles. Moving on to the keyboard, it is a full-size keyboard complete with a numpad. The numpad is a bit tiny, which does make it a bit hard to use. However, the rest of the keys are properly sized and spaced out. The keys also have long strokes, which make them very comfortable to type on. In fact, I wrote this script and even the review of this laptop using this laptop because why not? It's very comfortable to type on. Not to mention, I barely made any typing mistakes since this is the ASUS keyboard we've come to love and known for the longest time. There's 3 stages of backlight too, but there's only one color, which is white. Now, if you want more RGB, well, this isn't it. You go for other ROG products or the tough gaming products. As for the trackpad, it's huge compared to other laptops I've tried. It's also offset to the left a bit to make it a bit more ergonomic. It's smooth, so my fingers easily glide over it. I also like the special functions such as adjusting volume and brightness on the fly without having to reach for the function keys. Now, initially, I was a bit concerned with the trackpad interfering with my typing. But after using it for a while, it didn't seem to be the case. In fact, even if I had my palms resting on the trackpad, there was no issues with it just accidentally hitting anything on the screen. Now, moving on to the part of the Vivobook S16 you'll be looking at the most, the display. As mentioned earlier, the ASUS Vivobook S16 does come with a 16-inch display. It's an IPS panel with 2.5K resolution, 16:10 aspect ratio, and it also has a 144Hz refresh rate. Because of this 144Hz refresh rate, you do get smooth animations whether you're just playing games, going through the menus, or watching videos. From my experience, the IPS panel on this laptop is very decent. Despite being an IPS panel, the colors are quite vivid and the blacks can be deep. The more important bit is that the screen is color accurate out of the box. This made it quite enjoyable to watch movies and shows on the go. It also has good viewing angles, so even if you have friends over, they can watch it with you on this laptop. With the 144Hz refresh rate, you will also enjoy playing some games on this laptop, but not that much, which we'll talk more about later on. Together with the display, the Vivobook S16 also comes with dual stereo speakers tuned by Dolby Atmos. The speakers sound great and are loud too, but when maxed out, the quality is retained. There's also the Dolby Access app, which you can improve the sound quality by putting it on dynamic mode. It still lacks bass, but that's typical with most laptop speakers nowadays. While I do wish the Vivobook S16 did come with an OLED panel, that would have made the price a lot more expensive, but it's a good trade-off. At least you do have the 144Hz refresh rate, and at least this particular IPS panel is decent. Now we have to talk about the chipset of the ASUS Vivobook S16, the Snapdragon X chip. Unlike the usual Intel or AMD chipsets we've come to know, the Snapdragon X uses a different architecture as compared to the previous two that I mentioned. This one uses the ARM architecture, which is different compared to the x86 architecture of Intel and AMD. Fortunately, all the apps I installed had no compatibility issues. Our review unit comes with 16GB of LPDDR5 RAM and 512GB of SSD storage. Unfortunately, there is no way to upgrade the RAM since they are soldered in. But for the SSD, you can replace it with a larger M.2 unit if you choose to do so. And if you plan on getting this specific variant, I highly recommend you upgrade the SSD because 512GB is not enough. I just installed our usual benchmarking apps, a few applications, games, and we're almost out of storage already. So I highly recommend upgrading this to like 1TB or even 2TB. In terms of performance though, the Snapdragon X is very capable, especially for your productivity needs. Even though I had multiple tabs of Chrome open together with Lightroom, Photoshop, Discord, and Spotify running at the same time, the Vivobook S16 did not slow down. However, the same can't be said for gaming. On Genshin Impact, I had to adjust the graphics settings to the lowest while maintaining the 2.5K resolution and 60 FPS. If I adjusted anything more than that, the game would just start to stutter and have big frame rate drops even when I'm just going around the menu. Now, I'd also tried running Forza Horizon 5 and it was a similar issue as well. I even had to lower the resolution of the game just so it would play it a bit more smoothly, but still I was getting frame rate drops. While I didn't try playing lighter games like Valorant, I assume it wouldn't be the best as well. So if you want to play on this laptop, you can do so, but do set your expectations. With that, it's easy to say gaming isn't the strongest suit of the Vivobook S16 with the Snapdragon X chip. But thankfully, the laptop didn't heat up when playing games or even when I'm using it for productivity purposes. The downside of that is the fans do get really loud when they are maxed out. But hey, at least no heating issues. To give you a better idea, you can check out our benchmark scores on the screen right now. When it comes to battery life, the ASUS Vivobook S16 with the Snapdragon X chip is one of the most power-efficient laptops I've tried recently. Under the hood, it packs a 70-watt-hour lithium-ion battery pack, which is pretty much standard on most laptops today. It's so power-efficient that I don't even bring the charger with me when I'm out and about. I mean, just look at this. No charger and perfectly fine. To give you a better reference, I used this laptop for 2 consecutive days, and I still had around 10 to 15% of battery life afterwards. To be specific, I used it for around 5 hours per day. At that time, I was connected to Wi-Fi, playing music, doing all of my productivity tasks for the Yugatech office. Now, ASUS does claim this laptop to have 32 hours of battery life, and I see where they're coming from with that statement. However, as we always say, battery life is very much dependent on the end user. If you plan on playing games with the Vivobook S16, you will drain the battery a lot faster, which is to be expected. From my experience, you will drain around 20 minutes of battery life from just 40 minutes of Genshin playtime. It's a similar story if you're gonna leave keyboard lighting on, max out the brightness, play music. All of that will contribute to the battery life of your laptop. But again, this one, you won't need to worry about battery. When you do need to charge, you don't even need to bring the charger with you. You can just bring a power bank, plug a USB-C into it, and then it's good to go because it charges via USB-C. Now you can also bring the 65-watt charger with you since it's also very light. Overall, the ASUS Vivobook S16 is a great laptop, but it does have its weaknesses. For the price of just 50,995 pesos, it can handle most, if not all, of your productivity and work needs. It also has a very long battery life, which means you don't need to worry about charging it wherever you go. But if you want the game, I would recommend choosing either the Intel or even the AMD version of the Vivobook S16 as compared to the Snapdragon X unit we have here. Same exterior and features we've all come to love, just a different chipset. Not to mention, you won't have to worry about installing x86 programs because that's what it's meant for. Still, what do you think of the 2025 ASUS Vivobook S16? Is it something you'd cop as a next laptop? Or would you choose the Intel or maybe even the AMD version of the same laptop? Whatever the case, share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And of course, visit yugatech.com for the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Jose, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.